All right. Today is Sunday, August 17th, and this is the first episode of First and Short. The first place we want you to stop by and get some short bits of news about college football, short bits of analysis of college football, and hear our dumb takes about college football. I'm Mashfik. Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. My name is Aaron. And yeah, we're going to basically be the guys to get you everything you need first in short bits of analysis and information.
Absolutely. We both wanted to start this. I am a big digester of college football news. I go to Aaron with all my like X's and O's questions, and I felt like there needed to be a show that covered both the news part and also somewhere someone could come and actually learn more about like football 101 type stuff. And I didn't feel like that was available mostly on YouTube or whatever other channels. So I figured, well, hey, why not? Me and Aaron, we're pretty smart. We can figure this out. So here we are. Um, I would like to share like my favorite thing about college football is I don't think that the fandom that you get in college, it's not really something you get in NFL or any other level. It's something different. The fandom is different. The fanatical kind of experience is different. So that's what I love about college football. I don't think any other sport has that. What about you, Aaron?
Absolutely. So for me, my favorite thing about college football is the atmosphere around the whole day of Saturday. So just prepping for, a tailgate or getting ready to walk to the stadium or traveling to see your favorite team play. It's an atmosphere that I grew up around and I truly fell in love with to where, I can't miss a Saturday now. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see, and I'm hoping we can give you guys insight on what those things look like to us.
Absolutely. I love Saturdays in the fall. We do want to address one elephant in the room. We are both big UGA fans, but the point of this show, we are going to be as objective as possible, provide a good overview of the entire college football landscape. I have a Brock Bowers jersey right there. I just want to put that out there just so no one calls us homers or biased. It might pop up here and there, but just take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Anything else to add there, Aaron?
100% right. We're big time Georgia fans, but again, it's all about giving you guys unbiased, accurate data, and just our perspective on what could or could happen week to week.
Perfect. So, with that being said, we are today's Sunday. Week zero action happens this week. So that means officially football is back.
Football is back.
Football is back. And I just wanted to do a temperature check here. Aaron, what did you do in this offseason? How do you take your time? How do you spend your time when you don't have college football to watch on the weekends?
Oh my gosh, it was difficult trying to find something or anything that could be as entertaining as football on a Saturday. I went from watching romance reality TV shows to doom scrolling on social
Oh
media.
man, it sounds
Yeah.
tough.
Um, Needless to say, nothing compared and filled my weekend as satisfying as football. I even spent some time playing video games and trying to turn my Georgia Southern Eagles into the ultimate college football dynasty. Really
Nice.
wishing really wishing it could be reality. But hey, we're here, we're back, and I'm excited to see what this season holds.
Listen, if it happens in your mind, it is reality. I wish I was good at NCAA. I clearly that is a an area where I was not good at. Sold a game, didn't finish one season of the dynasty thing. For me, during the off season, my go-to is on Saturdays, I turn on the grill. I turn on football highlights on the TV. I try to simulate college football Saturdays as much as I can. Clearly, I am a fiend for college football, so it doesn't compare to the real thing. But that's kind of what I did, every other Saturday or so. So very excited. And speaking of excitement. What are you excited to see, Aaron, this season coming up? What do you think is going to be different this time around?
Absolutely. For me, it's definitely going to be seeing Carson Beck in his alternate universe. We've seen him at Georgia for the past 2 years. fans have kind of used him as the scapegoat or as for why the offense wasn't as effective or, what our ineffectiveness was for the season. But now, you know, he's with a different team. He's with University of Miami and a bunch of athletic guys around him. I'm interested to see, is he going to have a different story unfold here in Miami. And then on the latter side of that, I'm interested to see, is Georgia going to be an effective offense this year without Carson Beck?
Mhm.
How important or ill important was he to the team?
Gotcha. Yeah, we were actually both at the game where when Carson Beck got hurt. I hope that his elbow and his arm gets back to being good. He's definitely got a lot of talent. Wish it would have worked out better while he was at Georgia, but definitely excited to see what he does at Miami. Miami seems like the place, quarterbacks go to like it's like what's that show on Netflix? Last Chance U, I guess. Like Miami is Last Chance U, basically. I'm excited to see this Bill, what I'm calling the Bill Belichick experiment. I don't necessarily know what UNC was thinking hiring him. They fired an old guy and got an older guy. Um, and not only is he that old, obviously he's got the whole girlfriend thing. That's the same age as the players he's playing with. I think like it's hard to be successful at the NFL level and also in college football. There's very maybe one person comes to mind, Pete Carroll, that's been able to do it.
Mhm.
So, just excited to see what that kind of turns out to be. And honestly, I don't think it's a long runway for him. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in your opinion, do you think this is something or a program that Bill Belichick can turn around, or is this just a publicity stunt?
I think I think a lot of it falls on the publicity stunt. I think they're trying to emulate kind of the success that Deion Sanders was able to do at Colorado.
Hmm.
Um, you you come with all that clout and that like okay, Deion Sanders and Colorado, they're not known for their high school recruiting, right? I
Sure.
think he even said like I'm not spending time in recruits bedrooms or I mean not bedroom, but living rooms
Yeah.
because they come to him. So I think UNC is trying to do a similar thing with Bill Belichick. I don't think their high school recruiting is that great. The Carolinas are full with talent. They're a talent rich, area of the US, but I don't think UNC has the right kind of recruiting pipeline. Um, but I think he has the work ethic, as a head coach. I imagine he probably understands how. Actually, I take that back. I think he's gonna have to like learn how college kids react to coaching differently than NFL players, right? So, is he gonna be able to immediately turn it around? I don't think so. It might take a while, but how long is UNC gonna give him? That's ultimately the thing. So,
Absolutely, that is the question. For me, one thing I'm interested to see in that experiment is how well he's going to handle, being more patient and developing these players. In the NFL, you got your cream of the crop to pick from, and you're given
yeah,
a class of I don't know 100 players to cut down to an NFL roster size of 52 each year. And so, what
yeah,
is he going to do when he has players that he's essentially stuck with year to year, learning how to develop and take what he
yeah.
makes season to season. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I do wonder if NFL coaches are better suited to handle the whole NIL landscape because they've dealt with salaried players. So I wonder how that's going to turn out. Maybe he's like better suited for that moving forward.
Yeah,
Um, all right,
absolutely.
moving along. This week, a couple days ago, news did break about Michigan and what the NCAA kind of levied against Michigan. So, I'm just reading from a report here. The key violations were impermissible scouting, failure to cooperate by Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was found to be guilty, violating multiple principles as a head coach and recruiting violations. The recruiting violations is a little separate from obviously the sign stealing situation, but I guess they kind of like put all that together. Some of the penalties are that there's a probation levied against the program for 4 years. I'm going to touch on that in a second. There's financial penalties, millions of dollars of penalties, a reduction of 10% of scholarships, uh, a fine of 10% of the football program's budget, and 25% reduction in official recruiting, like the official visits. And then there's a few specific penalties for individuals. Connor Stallions has an 8-year show cause order, which means even if he can't he can't be a part of college athletics for 8 years.
Mm.
Jim Harbaugh has a 10-year show cause. Sharon Moore, the current head coach, he has a um, three game suspension. I thought it was 2 games. All right, 3 game suspension. I know that they said I think it's going to be like games 3 and 4 that he's going to be suspended, and a few other staff members. The problem I have with the penalties is that uh, Michigan is a program that just prints money, so I don't think the money is really like moving the needle for them, and especially with like NIL these days, and people can just donate money, right?
Right.
Um, and then a reduction of the scholarships. They have NIL can just cover those costs. So I I think this is more of a slap on the wrist than really anything here. I don't think the NCAA has the teeth to really do anything to programs anymore. In my understanding, and I might be wrong here, the college football playoff is kind of like ran by ESPN. So even
Mm.
if the NCAA says no, we don't recognize your postseason success, the CFP committee can just say, "Yep, you won this. You won the college football playoff. Um, whatever. It doesn't really matter what the NCAA says." So yeah. Any thoughts there? That's kind of my thought. It just feels like a slap on the wrist, but whatever. I'm happy to just get past this at this point. We know Jim Harbaugh is in the NFL now. Doubt he was going to come back anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really really interesting. It feels like Jim Harbaugh he had a crazy crazy successful year, and then it seems like the program is suffering more than what he is. Um, Another take that I have is with what you were saying in terms of the NCAA not having the teeth to be able to really discipline or punish a program. It's scary to think what really are the limitations to a program now with NIL.
Yeah, yeah. What I mean, might as well cheat. Who's going to stop you, right?
Who's going to stop you? The people are going to pay to see you win, and
Yeah,
it's
and
scary that it can turn into that necessary evil.
yeah, and I mean, I like the fans. What like they saw their team win a national championship. Like you can't take that away from them, right? So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it is what it is. We'll see who cheats next. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll see how one the NCAA and other organizations, react and adjust to possibly controlling this better in the future.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, week 0 is approaching, but we are going to go ahead. We will provide a week 0 recap next week, but a little bit more exciting is the week 1 action, and we wanted to cover a few of the key matchups at each of the major time slots for the day. So 12, 3:30, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I think this is one of the greatest like starts of the season we've ever seen. 12 p.m. first game, week 1. We got Texas at Ohio State. I think what is that, number 1 and number 3 in the AP poll. Aaron, I know this was your pick for the game of the time slot. What are your thoughts here?
Yep, yep, yep. So this year's Texas and Ohio State game is clashing and shaking it up to be one of the most star-studded matchups in recent college football memory. It's a week 1 showdown between two widely tipped programs full of star-studded athletes. Texas enters the year ranked number 1 with blue chip talent across the board. Ohio State's ranked number 3, even though they're coming off a national championship and a huge win. A huge weight lifted off of Ryan Day's shoulders.
Hmm.
Um, with this much factored into the game, I'm going to highlight and key one person in particular for the outcome of this game. For me,
Hmm.
it's Arch Manning. Arch Manning, is he the guy for Texas? That's the question this year. nobody to shadow this year. It's all on him. You know, he's now in his third year at quarterback to truly take over and lead this Longhorns team. Um, it comes with an immediate test, however. They're playing the Ohio State University for
Yeah.
his only third
In
career.
Columbus. In Columbus.
Exactly. Um, there have been positive talks about Arch in the fall this so far. We know he has a powerful arm. We know he has a lot of precision. I mean, he's a Manning. That's a given, right?
Yeah.
How will he shape up against a top defense that's, you know, going to give him a lot of different schemes, a lot of different pressures. Matt Patricia's, Ohio State's defensive coordinator and former NFL coach, he brings a wealth of pro level schematic complexity that will test Arch's ability to read and react. His reputation for disguising and making schemes complex will test, Arch Manning's ability to read and react. Um, it could tilt momentum towards the Buckeyes in this high stakes opener. If Manning performs well, he manages to read and protect the football and help the offense score efficiently. I mean, he'll instantly validate the Longhorns' top billing and why he's one of the top paid NIL players in the league right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that when players like Arch Manning start to become, do you think he'll be a target for Ohio State? Like, oh, who is this guy coming into the shoe? We're gonna make sure he has a hard day.
Absolutely, he's one of those guys, who even though he is in his third year at Texas, he's only had about 90 career passes.
Hmm.
So, and you have a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of experience, and he hasn't
Yeah,
had a whole
hasn't
lot of
proved himself.
time.
Hasn't proved himself, but like all of a sudden he's the face of college
Exactly,
football. Yeah,
exactly. And then he's coming into an environment that's very very hostile. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table this game.
yeah. Uh, yeah, I am definitely going to have that one on. I did want to make an honorable mention here. The Syracuse Orange, is that their mascot? Yeah, Syracuse is going to be playing Tennessee in Atlanta for the kickoff. I'll have that one playing on the side. I think that'll be a fun game to watch as well. The midday action, it's a little light. Alabama is will be going to Florida State. I'm excited to see Castellanos. He used to play at Boston College. I think he made a good name for himself there. I think what will be exciting to see, we're going to talk about coaches in the hot seat later, but um, I think I think this is Mike Norvell's last chance to save his job. Castellanos was chirping a little bit about Alabama in the offseason, so I think we'll see how they're able to handle this one. And then we have the night game, which is, I think, going to be amazing. I'm going ahead. I don't know if the regular media has given a name to this game yet, but I think it's going to be called Battle for Death Valley. LSU at Clemson. I think that'll be an amazing game.
Yes.
Um, LSU has famously lost a lot of their season openers the last few years,
Mhm.
but they always schedule a really, marquee matchup. So I don't know if we can like always put that against them, but what are your thoughts here, Aaron?
Yeah, so it's like you said, it's the battle for Death Valley. You got two Heisman hopefuls on each side of the ball. You got Klubnik with Dabo Sweeney on Clemson's side of the ball. I'm really excited to see him play this year. He's a guy who's really grown and developed the program, and Dabo has a lot of veterans on his team. He supposedly has, a really, really good defensive line this year. And so you
Yep.
pair that with Klubnik's, ability to really tear defense apart and have a chance to really just have fun in the ACC play this year.
Yep.
Really, really excited to see what they're going to do. On the other side, you have LSU and you have Brian Kelly with his quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, calling the snaps. I feel like they have a lot to prove this year. I think LSU, because of the standard that is, the
Yep.
standard in Baton Rouge, these guys really have to get some big wins this year, and so I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But I know they did a lot to get a lot of recruits out of the transfer portal this year, so that may be
Hmm.
an they have on Clemson, who is known for not necessarily wanting to
Yep.
engage in the transfer portal as much.
Yep. I think that'll be two big things to watch. Clemson, like you said, they like their homegrown players. coming up in the program. They actually did get a few players this year out of the transfer portal, so it's not like they have a whole new team there. And LSU, I think they probably had the top ranked transfer class, so that'll be completely different versus like what they had last year. But we saw Garrett Nussmeier play a little bit 2022 or three, the year UGA played LSU. Um, and I've been high on him ever since. Like he is so talented. Um, and so excited for that game for sure. We also have some Sunday game. Well, yeah, we have some games throughout the weekend. So Sunday, Notre Dame's at Miami. I think the big question here is how does Notre Dame bounce back after their title run last year? They
Mhm.
got second place. Are they able to leverage that as like, oh, we got to come harder, or was that kind of the mountaintop for them? And do they kind of regress back to what's usual for them? I think this one's a little bit of a toss up. I'm going to go with Miami here,
Mhm.
since they are the home team. I think Carson's Beck. I think Carson Beck's experience will be the difference maker. Notre Dame will have a new quarterback, just like most of the big programs throughout the country this year will have a new quarterback, so I think that'll be something to watch as well. But with Carson Beck, being such a veteran, I think that'll be the difference. Be the difference. Um, Miami's defense, if they are a liability again, then obviously Notre Dame will be able to capitalize on that. They had an excellent running game last year. They had an excellent offensive line. So Miami has to bring their A game in terms of defense. But Miami also has a top-rated transfer class, especially with a lot of people in the secondary, which was a point of concern for them. So we'll see how Mario cleans that up.
Mhm.
Um, so we talked about all these games here. I think these are probably the biggest games of week one. Which outcome do you think we should not overreact to? Meaning, like, if Alabama loses to Florida State, oh, it's okay, it's just week one, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Alabama will lose to Florida State. But which outcome do you think we should not overreact to?
Sure. I'm gonna go back to the noon game, Ohio State versus Texas. So for me, you have two teams that are ranked in the top four. Iron sharpens iron. Regardless of the outcome, both teams will get great experience. They'll have an opportunity to check and adjust. And then I think due to their strength of schedule, the fact that both teams, are are playing week in, week out against, tough opponents and, are playing against people who potentially are also going to be in the college football playoffs, I think they'll be fine. So there's no need to react to this game, in my opinion. I feel like there's going to be a lot of nerves, a lot of exciting plays. Um, yeah, but we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a shootout.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's going to be that battle for Death Valley, LSU at Clemson. Clemson has I mean, the ACC is wide open this year. If they lose, they can still run the table, get a good spot in the playoff. LSU has a very well, it's the SEC, but they everything will still be ahead of them. There's a lot of somebody has to lose the game, right? So for them to it's almost like you get rewarded for scheduling a good opponent, especially in week one. The voters, CFP, AP, whatever, it gives you time to kind of forget what happens in week one. A team can definitely change over the course of a few weeks, especially over the course of a long season. So, but that one, I think it'll be a good game, and whoever loses, everything will still be ahead of them. And I don't think we should write off either of those teams. I'm actually I know people like to hate on Dabo Sweeney a lot. I would like for him, with his method, that he's chosen for his program, it
Hmm.
would be great to see him win one more, just so he can say a proverbial middle finger to everybody else, like my way worked, your way didn't, at least for this year. So, yeah, I think that's the game for me to not overreact to. Um,
That's fair. That's
okay,
fair.
yeah. So we talked about a lot of good players on a lot of good teams. We think that. The Heisman winner for this year will probably come from this crop of players. So we're going to go ahead and make our prediction, or at least like a short list. We're going to make a short list for Heisman this year. Um, Aaron, who do you like? I know you made a list here and you've got some analysis that you want to go through. Who are your top two or three, players to watch for the Heisman?
Sure. So, we talked about, Cade Klubnik, we talked about Garen Nussenmeyer, but the guy I really want to break down and sell to the fans out here in college football would have to be Lenore Sellers. So let's take a look at some of his plays.
Cool. Lenore Sellers, quarterback at South Carolina. He really came onto the scene last year, and I agree with you. His body, his play style, it's really impressive. So, um, yeah, what do we got?
Sure. So, first things first, if you take a look at this play right here against Old Dominion, right? Sellers to me is a guy that's a true dual threat quarterback. He's a freak of nature, and on this play right here, you'll see he's playing against Old Dominion. He's taking his time, watching the play progress, stepping up in the pocket, and then when he senses pressure, he moves up, ensuring that he still has his eyes downfield on the progression, and then boom, hits a wide open target.
Quick,
So let's take a
quick
look at this.
question. Quick question from a person who needs help on the X's and O's. What is the defense showing him, and what is he thinking, and then what does the defense do, which ultimately makes him change it up, and what does he do there?
Sure, yeah. So right now it looks like the defense has about, maybe three down linemen. Not much pressure. They got three safeties kind of high back right now, which is kind of a funky looking formation. But as the play develops, you'll see that a little bit more pressure will come, and he's just taking his time and watching essentially a zone defense breakdown.
So he's Yep.
Yep. So if you look at the next glance or look of this play, you'll see a little close up. All right, Sellers looking, stepping up, eyes up, eyes up, eyes up. Hits his target. Boom. All right.
Cool. Yeah. What's the next play you want to show us?
Yeah. So the next play is actually against Clemson. Right.
Mhm.
The thing about Lenore Sellers is that he's a guy that is not only a good dual threat passer, but essentially in the backfield you have another running back. Hold on.
All right. So we got South Carolina playing Clemson here.
Yep. And so on this next play, you'll see Lenore's, step up in the pocket and basically be another running back in the field for you. Boom. He's evading all these different guys and defenders, using his field vision and just running and escalating up the field. Just freak athlete.
Do you think he'll be able to recreate? I mean, he kind of like jumped onto the scene last year, right? Do you think teams will have an extra target on him moving forward? Will he be able to recreate his last year's success?
I definitely think teams will have another target on him, but the thing we have to consider is that he has, a lot of weapons alongside him. He's still got Nick Harbor, and Nick Harbor is that guy. He's a big, physical, aggressive receiver who I think he's going to target a lot this year.
Nice, nice. Yeah, South Carolina's definitely. Would you agree that's the dark horse team for you?
Yes, for me, South Carolina is definitely one of those teams that is easily gonna be able to, sneak into the playoffs if they come and show their full potential at any and every game. What about you? What
Gotcha.
about for you? What's your dark
Uh,
horse?
I I I like South Carolina. If I had to pick another team, it would be Texas Tech, only because of the NIL money that they're throwing around and how many high level, kind of recruits they're able to get committed there, and also their transfer portal. Maybe it won't pay off this year, but I think within the next, year or two, that money's going to start to play a factor. Um,
Okay.
so okay, great. I think we did a great job covering, previewing week one. Next week we will cover our national title pick. We're going to cover a few coaches that are on the hot seat that we don't think will make it to next year,
Hmm.
and we're going to choose an underdog of the week. So we don't want to make this show too focused on betting or anything like that. But if there's a really bad bet out there, we want to make sure you at least choose the underdog there. And then, of course, next week we will have the week zero reaction of everything that we see coming up this Saturday. Anything else you want to cover, Aaron, before we head out for the day?
Well, I just can't wait for football to finally be back this Saturday. We will update you guys on that reaction next week. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate it. We will record every Sunday and every Thursday. Sunday will be a review of what happened on Saturday, and Thursday will be previews of what's coming up the upcoming Saturday. So appreciate you guys watching the first episode of First and Short. We will see you guys next time. Thanks.